Welcome to Winning English, helping your English shine through the use of idioms, slang, and cultural references. Today, all about euphemisms. Hello, everyone. Today, I focus on euphemisms. A euphemism is a word or phrase designed to make a bad thing sound good, or at least neutral. Euphemisms are used for a variety of reasons. Sometimes we use them to be polite. Sometimes we use them to avoid hurting someone's feelings. And sometimes we use them to avoid talking about bad things without lying about them outright. So, let's look at some examples. Let's start with the world of work and the fact that sometimes people get fired from their jobs. To get fired is even a bit of a euphemism. It means that you have been told you are no longer employed with the company and that you should leave. If you get fired, it's often because you did something wrong, but that's not always true. Sometimes you get fired for reasons beyond your control. So people have come up with softer ways of saying that. One is, we're letting you go. To be let go sounds a bit like the employer is helping you. The company is releasing its hold on you and freeing you, although you probably wouldn't feel that way. By the way, when you do lose your job, you are unemployed by definition. But you might not want to tell other people that. So you might say, I'm between jobs. You had a job. You will have a job in the future, but for now, you are between those. It sounds and feels better to think you'll have a new job soon. There are also many euphemisms for how people look. Most of the time, people want to be polite and nice when describing a person's traits, especially if those traits are sometimes seen as negative. For example, people often don't want to feel short or fat, although in my opinion, it shouldn't matter that much. Anyway, people often use the word challenged to talk about these traits in a euphemistic way. To be challenged is to struggle with something or to have a hard time. The word challenged then gets modified with another word in front. So, for example, there's vertically challenged, which is a euphemism for short. Vertical is the dimension of up-down, or put more simply, height. So vertically challenged means the person is having trouble in the up-down dimension, or height, which means the person is short. So we avoid saying short by saying vertically challenged. Another example is horizontally challenged, which is a euphemism for fat. Horizontal is the dimension of left-right, or put more simply, width. So a horizontally challenged person is having trouble in the left-right dimension, which means they are wide, which means they are fat. Death is perhaps the worst topic of all, so we have plenty of euphemisms for it too. Death means someone has died, of course, but when talking to people who have had a relative or friend die, it can actually be rude to use the verb to die. For example, you would not want to say, I heard your father died. That would seem too blunt. Instead, it's better to say, passed away. I heard your father passed away. This is considered gentler and kinder. You can also say, resting in peace. For example, my father is in a better place now. He's resting in peace. This is considered more gentle than saying, my father died. By the way, rest in peace is something people often say when they want to honor someone who has died. That often gets shortened to just RIP or RIP, although For me, just writing RIP feels less respectful than fully writing out rest in peace. I have one more example regarding death, but this time for pets. Unfortunately, we sometimes choose or need to kill pets that are old or sick. But saying that you are killing your pet feels very wrong. No one kills something he or she loves. So instead, we say, put to sleep. Someone might say, we're very sad today. We had to put our family pet to sleep. Note that put to sleep is never used for people. Sometimes people have to make the difficult choice to end medical care, but we never call that putting the person to sleep. Let's turn to some lighter topics that also often use euphemisms. We all need to go to the bathroom, of course. We pee and poop. But we also often try to avoid using those words or even ruder words. One solution is to use the phrases number one and number two. Number one is pee. Number two is poop. People often use these phrases with children. A child might say to a parent, I have to go to the bathroom. The parent might ask, number one or number two, in order to decide just how quickly a bathroom stop is needed. When you've had too much alcohol and can't control your behavior very well, you are drunk. But sometimes we try to be polite when we see that someone is drunk. We try to gently point out his or her condition without criticizing the person for it. Instead, we say, he's had one too many. The one in this sentence is an alcoholic drink. Most people can keep control after one or two drinks, but once you've had one too many, you are out of control. Finally, we all like to own new cars, but sometimes those aren't too expensive, so we buy cars that other people have used for a while. In fact, it was common in the past to call these used cars. But at some point, the car industry decided this didn't sound good. The thinking was, I guess, who wants to own something that's been used by someone else before? So the industry came up with pre-owned. Pre is a word part that means before. You'll see it in many different words. So pre-owned just means owned before by someone else. It's not used as in old and tired and dirty. See, pre-owned is much better. And I'm sure car dealers are thinking, hopefully, it gets a higher price too. That's just a few common euphemisms that English speakers use all the time. There are so many that I had a hard time picking out just a few. Clearly, there are many bad things in the world that people want to treat more gently. I'll revisit more euphemisms in future newsletters. Thanks for being part of Winning English. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, sign up for the email newsletter at winningenglish.substack.com to get additional content, like a transcript of this video and other helpful images and links. In the latest edition, I have yet another example of the funny differences between British and American English. This time using the risque comedic film Austin Powers Goldmember. I'll even tell you what risque means. Please follow Winning English on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as well. But most of all, remember, if you like Winning English, please tell a friend. Talk soon.